So you're thinking about building a home in the city of Montgomery here in Cincinnati, Ohio. What do you need to know? Well, stay tuned because we're going to dive into the nitty-gritty details so you know everything to get started and make sure you set off on the right path. Hey there, my name is Mike Hines with Euler Hines of Coldwell Banker. I'm here to share with you every detail that you can imagine on building a home. Of course, building a home is complicated, but it's so worth it. I've done it twice now, actually, for myself personally, and I've helped numerous clients, dozens and dozens of clients navigate through the process, work with virtually every builder out there in Cincinnati. And we're excited because the city of Montgomery is where we sit actually right now. We are right here in the core and the heart of downtown Montgomery, and we love it. It's a great place to run a business. Quite a few of our different agents on the team are residents here in the city of Montgomery, and we could not say better things about the community. So why do we love Montgomery? Well, when it comes down to it, there's so much to offer. We'll get into building in a moment, but as we sit here in downtown Montgomery, where our company, Euler Hines, is, and then also, of course, the Remington room, which is where we sit over here today in the back office, this is just such a special, vibrant area. There's been so much new development, but yet they kind of have a great way of mixing the new with the old. And I'll give you an example. You have Old Montgomery and Downtown Montgomery. It's just a quaint little district right along Montgomery and Cooper with the Heritage District and the Landmark District that maintains the old historic nature of where people had really just established the residence and home back 200 and some years ago. And we have another video actually on the city of Montgomery, all kinds of details. Encourage you to watch that. We'll link to it down below. But it's a great place to raise a family, to set up a shop, just run a business, do everything down here in the downtown district because of the walkability, because of the presence, because of everything that really comes along with this. And plus, right next door, they just finished up the Montgomery corridor. So if you're driving down Cross County Highway, get off of Montgomery Road, you're gonna see a brand new development, complete with a hotel that's just about to open, Kitchen Social, which is a brand new, one of my favorite restaurants in town. You have a new sushi place, you have the Livery, you have Brew Burger, so many great places, Hellman's to go buy some new suits and some new clothes. You have so much in that new little district right there that it's just a great way and a great gateway into the city of Montgomery. Then once you get outside of downtown Montgomery, you have paved sidewalks and paver sidewalks as you go through the entire district, and we meander in and out of some great streets like Zigzag and Remington and Cooper. So many different streets you can kind of meander your way through. They connect you to the parks, which are incredible, the parks to your home, the homes to Blossom Donuts, everything you could possibly want to get to and walk to, you're able to do that. And there's even some of the more suburban type of comforts, like you have a Kroger right in the heart of downtown Montgomery, great pizza spots. You have great strip centers as well that have some of the new restaurants and some new shops and all the retail space you can imagine. So it's this eclectic little mix of everything in a community that feels just great. Montgomery really has it all, including we also have a excellent rated school district here with Sycamore Schools. Sycamore Schools actually is part of Montgomery, it's part of Blue Ash, Sycamore Township, part of that as well in Sims Township. It's an excellent rated, it's in fact one of the highest rated in the state of Ohio when it comes to school districts. We have a lot of clients come to us specifically looking for Sycamore Schools and they want to live here. And Montgomery tends to be one of the most sought after areas in all of Sycamore Schools. But let's dive into the building in Montgomery because we've talked, I'm sure you probably, if you're watching this video, you've probably driven through the community, watched other videos, have friends that live here, you know it's a great area. So we don't need to tell you any more on that. But as we look at building in the city of Montgomery, it can be a challenge. And I'll start there because when it comes to building, finding lots is really only coming in one form, and that's in teardown lots. That means an older 1960 style home, maybe 1950 style that's torn down, and then a new home is built in its place. Maybe one home's torn down, the lot's split into two, and then a couple of new homes are built into place. But really, you're not finding a lot of leftover land to build big subdivisions or developments because most of it's been picked over, or the property is just so expensive the numbers don't shake out for a developer or a builder. So I start there because that's really important because that's how you can get your entryway into building. There's not dozens and dozens of new homes happening every year. There's probably a few dozen at absolute most that happens because there's just not that many homes that transition with values raising up into, just obviously the market appreciation in general. So we'll go from there and we'll dive into your budget because the budget is really gonna be that barrier to entry or one of the key points to understand so you know if you can be building in Montgomery. Now, to understand your budget, you kind of have to work backwards. Of course, you have to get pre-approved or you look at your financial situation and understand what you would like to spend. But there is a price to entry here in Montgomery. When it comes to building a house, the price point of typically any kind of home that's a new single family home is probably gonna be in that 1.2 to 1.3 range. So $1 million $200,000 to $1,300,000. There are exceptions to that in communities like Orchard Trail or some in the Villas of Montgomery, which is attached product, little smaller lifestyle projects that started back a few years ago that are a little tighter, a little smaller. Those might start around the $950,000 to $1 million price point. Occasionally you can find something maybe a little less than that. So let's just use $1 million as a flat starting point. And the closer you get to downtown Montgomery, the more expensive that is because more sought after lots. Heck, there's lots nowadays that are selling for $400,000 to $650,000 just for the lot itself and then tearing down the house and building something new. Okay, your budget's starting around $1.2 million, $1.3 million. What does that mean? Well, when you look at lot prices, we like using a ratio just to understand exactly what you can build. So let's just use a $300,000 lot. What can you build a house for on there? Well, we try to use that 1-to-4 ratio. So if you're buying a lot for $300,000, you're probably gonna be at least $1.2 million for a home. So you just multiply that by 4, get to $1.2 million. So you buy a lot for $500,000, probably not that 1-to-4 ratio, but probably pretty close because the more expensive the lot, the inverse on the ratio goes, but it still gets pretty close. If you're buying a lot for $450,000 to $500,000, chances are with the current building costs, with everything going on in the marketplace, you're gonna be a little closer to $2 million, at least $1.8 million to $2 million on the end house itself. So this might be a barrier to entry. This might say, hey, you know what? That's not really the budget I was hoping to go for. Unfortunately, over the past 4 to 5 years, that's changed quite a bit. Whereas we used to deliver quite a few homes for that $1 million to $1.1 million, $1.2 million. That's jumped up quite a bit. We're doing quite a few homes that are in the $1.5 million to $2 million, $1.2 million range on that kind of front. Then we get into the size lots and the types of homes. So what kind of type of home do you want to build? Do you want to build a nice ranch? Do you want to build a second floor master? Well, the good news about Montgomery compared to Blue Ash, parts of Blue Ash and the Madeira, the lots tend to be a little wider. Your average lot in Montgomery, for the most part, and keep in mind there's exceptions to every rule on this, but the average lot in Montgomery is going to be anywhere from 80 to 85 feet wide to 100 to 110 foot wide. That means you have a little more space. As you get above 100 feet wide, that allows you to get a side entry garage. You can always finagle some things to try to get it on a smaller lot, but that's kind of what indicates that. So on the 90 to 110 foot wide lot, you see the more expensive homes, and those are also the more expensive lots. Those can be anywhere from $325,000 to $450,000 plus on that front. So just key to know, because as that relays back into the type of home you want to build, then now we're looking at, okay, hey, if I want to build a ranch with a 3-car entry garage and maybe a bedroom on the first floor with a study as well, I know that footprint's getting quite large. That's how wide the house is getting. And width, in my perspective, width is really what demands the most cost, because the wider you go, you're gonna go, of course, a little bit deep, but the wider you go, the more expensive it is. The bigger that first floor footprint is, the more expensive a home is. More foundation, more everything on that front. So as you're looking for that, if you're looking at a 100-foot wide lot, and you want to do a first floor master, first floor primary, you really have to consider exactly how that's going to lay out on the site, and you got to know that that's going to drive up your cost. Not every lot can fit all of what we're talking about with the first floor primary. We just had a lot over here in downtown Montgomery. We tried like hell to figure out how to put a first floor primary on there. It just couldn't be done with the ratios of how much coverage there could be, the width of the lot, the zoning restrictions. We just found that, hey, you know what, it's gonna be better to build a second floor primary, put an elevator shaft, so if somebody in the future wants to have access to the second floor, they can go ahead and do it that way. But that's really key, because if you're looking for a certain type of home, just make sure that you have the width necessary. It tends to be, if you have a second floor primary, your width can kind of shrink a little bit. You can be a little bit more efficient on the house itself, and this helps a lot of people out. Plus, the cost of the house can actually decrease on the cost per square foot, which helps a lot. Okay, now we're gonna dive into the types of builders you see here in the city of Montgomery. Most of the time you're gonna see custom home builders, which what does custom mean? It's kind of a catch-all term nowadays, but normally that means they're building a custom home specially designed for your lot, for the lot they have. Typically, the builders do control a lot of lots because they're out there hunting and trying to source these lots constantly. We actually have a sourcing arm as part of the company that we help our clients out and our builders to try to find opportunities, but typically custom builders, because you have to build normally a custom home for each one of these lots because they're all a little different. They're not as conforming as other neighborhoods that maybe a production builder might do. So a few examples, you have classic living homes. There's a lot of homes out here. In fact, if you drive down the street in 2025 downtown, you're gonna see 4 or 5 of their signs. You have Ben Fry of Fry Homes. He's building quite a bit in downtown Montgomery, the outskirts as well, Orchard Trail. He's really made Montgomery home for himself and done a lot, lives down the road in Blue Ash as well. Then you might see other builders like Lucky Homes. They've done quite a few different projects, have quite a few going on as well, or Ashford Homes. These are just all builders that tend to stick around in the area because they know how in demand it is. They love working with Montgomery. There's a lot of really great things, and it keeps them with a steady flow of opportunity. And they know clients like yourselves are just craving for new homes over here, which we got a lot of clients that are out there looking for brand new homes and unfortunately not enough opportunity. So they tend to stay here and stay fixated on trying to find good opportunities to deliver homes for you. Of course, there's plenty more. You have Pete Marino building a handful, Graham Daly, other builders as well that are doing a fantastic job. John Hensley of Hensley Homes. Great builders that are here in the area, so we don't want to leave anybody out, but at any given time, there are certain builders that tend to concentrate here and do quite a bit. Lastly, let's talk quickly about zoning. So in Montgomery, there's a couple different zoning districts. There's so much that goes into there, but zoning's important because zoning is going to tell you what your side yard setbacks are. So really, typically, you have zoning residence A and zoning residence B here in Montgomery. Now, those setbacks might range on the side, which I always think side is the most important, might be anywhere from 15-foot side yards to 12-foot side yards. So just basically you'd want to double those numbers because you got each of the sides on each one. So let's use one lot, 15 and 15. Now, if you have a side entry garage, that 15 needs to get a little bit bigger, go to something like 25, 27, 29 feet. So that takes quite a bit of size off of each one of those. That's one first component of it, is side yard setbacks. Of course, there's front yards, which are typically around 50, rear yards, which are typically around 35 foot. But again, everything can be a little different depending on the criteria of each and every lot. Coverage ratios, we talked about this in the Madeira video as well. Coverage ratios are really important as well. That's something you have to contend with as well. You can't cover the entire lot with impervious surface. You have to make sure you're sticking and abiding with what they have in mind with their zoning code. Again, I can't speak highly enough about the city of Montgomery and the folks over there, Kevin and Tracy, Greg, they are fantastic. So when you have questions on certain particular lots, which is pretty much every single day for us, we pick up the phone and we call them just to make sure we understand exactly what's going on. And that dives into the last point of this, which is due diligence. Due diligence is pivotal on these lots. You have to make sure you're understanding utilities, zoning, costs, anything that's really could happen is buried oil tanks. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that can happen. So you need to know these. We have a due diligence checklist that we'll actually link to down below as well. That's helpful on this, but every lot is different. So I bring this up because as you're building in the city of Madeira, Montgomery, Blue Ash, there's always different elements that you need to look at, and you got to make sure you are really well situated to be in good shape. Lastly, tax abatements. I did want to mention that. So in the city of Montgomery, there are no tax abatements. People get that question quite a bit. If you jump over into the tax abated area of Blue Ash, which is right off of Kenwood and Cooper, there are some areas over there that are tax abated, but in the city of Montgomery, there is not. I know this is a lot of information and we hope it's helpful. We create these videos to kind of guide you and get you set up on the right foot. So as you're looking at building a home, please reach out to us. We would love to be your advisors. At the very least, point you in the right direction or share our inventory, whatever we're working on. We always have opportunities we're talking to different clients and sellers on. But more importantly, we're here just to be a helpful resource to you. So next time you're considering building and you don't know where to go, please reach out to us. You can reach out to your favorite builder, your favorite real estate agent, which hopefully is us, but we're always here to help. So hopefully next time we talk, you're building a home in Montgomery and we're on the other side working with you. But at the very least, we're always here to help. And hopefully these videos are helpful for you to feel less nervous about getting started in the process. Make sure you link down below and subscribe to our videos because we're always putting out content like this, and we hope to see you on the other side. Thanks.